right, it's your good morning, Anambra, and we're delighted to welcome you to this time. What we have now is asset declaration. And in the studio, we have two great minds to help us look at this topic, asset declaration in Nigeria. Would like to welcome to the studio Professor Ifeanyi Ike. Professor Ifeanyi Ike is a senior special assistant to the governor on political matters. Prof, we're glad to welcome you to the studio.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. Lend us your ears. But I have to make a correction. I'm an associate professor.
Okay, associate professor.
Once associate professor is in the rank of
Professorship.
All right, welcome. All right, we also have Professor Ifeanyi Ezako. He's a professor of philosophy, Paul University here in Oka. Prof, glad to have you in the studio.
Well, you Nigerians, you Anambrans, good morning.
All right, it may interest you to know that it's been trending for some time now, asset declaration. And actually, Nigerians woke up, it was, I think, second week of January, to the call of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onoge, to be arraigned before the Code of Conduct Bureau over allegation of non-declaration of assets. Now, this morning we'll be looking at, what does it really mean to declare assets? Who should declare his or her assets, and the consequences if one does not declare his or her assets. Now, let me begin with you, Prof, Associate Prof Ike. Yeah. This asset declaration, it's been on. Could you let us know how it has fared in Nigeria?
Thank you. The issue of asset declaration started because our people are always in the habit of swindling Nigerians. By that I mean people who are given political positions always move ahead to acquire or amass wealth to themselves, to the detriment of the people that voted them into power. That being the case, you can see somebody who maybe has nothing, no property, no reasonable amount of money in the bank, but will just be given an appointment. He will go there and begin to move into fraudulent practices of making money. And at the end of the day, he will acquire money that in such a way that if you are told that this man was so level at so 2 or 3 years ago, now he has this kind of property all over the country and even beyond. And people said, no, we cannot be shortchanging the masses. Therefore, there is every need for people to be checkmated before they move into office. By that declaration means any property you have before you get into office must be written down on paper, which we call the asset declaration. It is usually done by Code of Conduct Bureau. They are in every state. That of Oka, Anambra State is in Secretariat here. You go, you get a form. It's a secret form. It's a secret document meant for the Code of Conduct Bureau and yourself as a political appointee. And who is supposed to fill this form?
All right, I think we will still get to that, but let's quickly know how this has fared in this country.
Okay, I think to some extent it's helping us. People are now very worried. People are now very, very careful on how they amass wealth. If not, the manner and way people will be using government fund, even though they're still doing it today, but at least it would have been on a very higher level if there is no checkmate, a watchdog, which this bureau is doing.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Let me come to you now, Professor. When we talk about assets declaration, is it just for the political appointees that should declare their assets? Who are the whole citizens of Nigeria or people who are working? Who should declare assets in Nigeria?
It's a very good thing that this aspect of the question has come in. Everything, every corporate body, animate and inanimate, companies, banks, in fact, any unit that benefits from the utilities of the government must be paying some tax. And that particular body has to declare assets In fact, like banks, they declare their assets. Some corporate bodies declare their assets. At the end of the year, they call the shareholders and say, this is what we have gained this year. And they begin to share benefits to the shareholders. And now, I believe that the issue of asset declaration came into being to mildly check fraudulent behavior of people, not just political appointees, not just all of them. Okay. It is I went and declared my assets when I was a lecturer in College of Education some years ago. And every year you go to declare. Because there may be some drops, there may be some increase. You may have inherited something. You may discover that somebody may have 5 lorries operating at the initial stage of becoming a company registered in Nigeria. By the time the person has gone some few years, the vehicles may drop from 10 to 4. And then it can never hold the original asset declaration to be the present declaration. So it must either move forwards or downwards. It depreciates or appreciates. And that's why asset declaration is something that is done occasionally so as to know where somebody has gone. And even that is where government can assist an individual body to increase and not to depreciate.
Oh, okay, now there's something very apt in what you've said, that you declare it from time to time. And it's not just for politicians. You know, I know I've worked here for quite, not less than 10 years I've been here. But I think civil servants, they can equally declare their assets.
Yes, that's what I mean.
So doing that from time to time, I've not really seen it happen here over time. You know, how do we really ensure that people that are supposed to declare their assets does that? You know, peradventure there are positions they may get to and you want them to declare their assets. It becomes a foreign thing. But had it been they do it just like you said from time to time, you know, it would be an easy thing. So what do you think, Prof?
Well, to me, I am so much used to declaration of assets by political appointees, be you the president, a senator, House of Reps, Assembly governor, even local government chairman, appointed commissioners, special advisors, and whatever. You must have to declare your assets. The issue of from time to time means at the end of the tenure, let's say 4 years, or you have served for 2 years, everything about you must have to be recorded, and it has to go to the Code of Conduct Bureau. They themselves will bring you the form, or they ask you to come to their office and collect the forms. You will fill the form. Immediately you are appointed. Let's say about 1 or 2 months into you are being appointed, the forms must be filled for you to declare what you have, so that when you amass wealth, it will be known. This is just, as I said, a checkmate, a kind of watchdog of what people do.
All right. Now it's a kind of checkmate.
Yes.
But do you really think Nigerians or those responsible are doing it the way it should, Prof?
Everything in Nigeria is just collapsing. You can have a very laudable policy this year. The following year is dropped. You
know, because from what you're saying, it's a beautiful thing to checkmate somebody.
Yes.
Now, you see, when it was initially developed in country, in Nigeria, people were submitting what they have, the assets. But at a stage, even the people who are conducting it may not even provide their own declaration. Okay. So people will now realize, if I cannot do something good, I will not force somebody to do something good. So the people handling it must have been faulting themselves. And then the citizens will also be faulting. And then some politicians, especially in this country, Nigeria, they will now get some people as scapegoats. They want to mow them down in order so that they will not come up.
All right, we'll very soon we'll go deeply into what's been happening to the CJN. But you talked about checkmating people's asset declaration.
Yes.
Now, in order to ensure monitoring and tracking of individuals, wealth, how has Nigerian fared? What has Nigerian been able to do to checkmate this increase of fluctuation over time?
Well,
because that's where the problem comes in, where you're probably, I keep asking the question, why is it now that the whole issues with the CJN is creeping up? Is it that when he was appointed, they didn't know he was supposed to declare? Or was it when he declared what he declared, you felt it was okay, you didn't want to do anything, now the election is approaching, you think he's not declared? So what has Nigeria or the body responsible for this, what have they done to make sure to checkmate the fluctuation of, the wealth of this appointed people over time?
And some of the people that were found wanting in terms of false declaration, it has been on air. The media used to carry it. Some are sent to Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC. There are cases like that. We in politics, we know that most people have been charged to court for false declaration of assets. It has been on in this country.
Okay, let's come to the CJN.
Yes.
We all know how long he was actually on that seat before he was actually appointed. And we know he was actually appointed when the president wasn't around. He was probably sick at that time. Then the vice president actually appointed him.
Yes.
We know there's a procedure when you are being appointed at a position. One of them is declaring your assets.
Yes.
Now, was it that Walter Onagen, when he was, confirmed as the CJN, was it that he did not declare his asset? Because the federal government are actually laying claims now that he partially declared his assets, and of course he also refused to declare some bank accounts and stuff. So if they knew he did this, why didn't they take action then? Why now, Professor?
This is the role of the duty of the board, to submit to him the form to fill, and then he must have made the declaration before taking on, even before he was asked to be the CG. But now he has increased, or he must have depreciated. He must have inherited something, either from his father, his mother, and so on. He must have increased. And it is the duty of the board to give him form, fill your present status. And if they didn't do it, he will not just go and ask the board, give me a form to fill. It is the duty of the board.
All right, we'll still get back to you, but for now, let's quickly go to the studio. When we return, we're going to look at, how far we have gone in declaring our assets as civil servants and so on and so forth. Let's feel the pulse of the people concerning asset declaration. We'll be right back.
The truth is that government has not made this thing clear to those that ought to declare the assets. I mean the civil servants and the public servants. But what we understand is that every 4 years forms are issued where the entire assets of the declarant, that of the spouse, and children that are of age are enumerated. And in the recent time, I think those that ought to do this duty are not doing it well. To me, I believe once somebody is elevated to a new position, like what we see, in the case of CJN, the authority should approach him, deliver the assets from, and when he has declared on oath, he will submit them to the authorities. Like what we had, the CJN said, I didn't remember. And we all agree with him, he may not remember. But if authorities has approached him at the point of being elevated from a judge to Chief Justice of the Federation, they ought to go to him, give him a copy of that declaration form. He will fill and deliver to the office. I don't know why this thing should be coming up at this snip of time that the election is coming up. That's the question everybody is, asking. I know within my own limit that it is the duty of the NJC, National Judicial Council, to hire and discipline judges. There is a political attachment to it. We all agree to that.
What are we declaring? Where we have for salaries? The salary is nothing. Civil servants, they are suffering. Have they even eaten? And you are talking of declaration of asset declaration. Let them eat first. I'm deputy director. If you are no more deputy director. Director. I don't have a house. I don't have a land. I don't have a car. What am I declaring? Which asset?
I don't even know what you are declaring as an asset, because you don't even have enough to have the assets. That's one thing. Like, we the civil servants, it has not been easy. What are we declaring? Is it the bed or the mattress or the pots we use in cooking for our children? When we talk about the pot, the good food to give to them is not even there. So what are we declaring? Just like what is happening to the chief judge of Nigeria. Somebody who has labored for years, worked for years to get to where he is, to get to the position where he is. All he has saved for all his life to take care of his old age. Somebody somewhere, just because of political, I don't know, or just to pull down the country, they said he has done this, he has done that. I don't know, but everybody knows that everything about it is nothing but political.
Asset declaration, well, like Nigeria now, where they are fighting corruption. Asset declaration is a good idea in trying to check corruption in the country, because if one doesn't declare his assets, you will know when that person must have gone into that practice of corruption. So, in view of the asset declaration, one should be able to know when somebody must have enriched himself in an evil way.
All right, we've gone to the field, and as you can see, it's mostly civil servants that talking about declaration of assets. Now, let me come to you, Prof. You work with government, yes. Could you quickly react to what the woman said there about, when you have food to eat, that you see what to declare? Let's quickly react to that.
Actually, if the woman is ordinary housewife, ordinary market woman, that has nothing to declare, actually there's no need telling her to declare anything. But if she is a wife to somebody that is supposed to declare, whatever she has as a wife must be declared by the husband. Mm-hmm. Assuming the husband is a political appointee or somebody in a very high level that is considered in this country, Nigeria, that he must have to declare his asset. That of the wife must be declared. Then you also declare that of your children below 18 years of age.
So let's have an understanding here.
Yes.
So as I'm a civil servant, if I want to declare my assets, it includes that of my husband and my children.
That is if your husband is not a political appointee. What it means is that whatever you are declaring, you are also declaring for the household. Okay. I'll give you an example. If I'm declaring my assets now, I'm duty bound to declare that on my wife, whether she has a car, whether she has a business like, let's say, hairdressing salon, whether she has means of income, or whether she has another private house that gives her money. All must have to be declared. Even my children. If they have a farm, or my wife has a farm, they all have to be declared. Even if income is coming from them, the income must have to be valued and declared at that material time or point in time you are making the declaration. All these things must be enlisted. That's the law.
Let me just add something here. You mentioned the children under 18. That's
Yes.
not assets, they are liabilities.
Okay.
They are liabilities.
And
they are
who is taking care of those liabilities? It's you.
It's
and
you.
you get income.
Yeah.
So
With
you're
which
the
yes, so you have to answer for them.
No.
When they are above 18, they are on their own according to the law.
When the child is a liability, you are spending on the child.
And where are you getting the money from to spend on the child?
It is what you have, which means what you have as an asset to yourself. will be shared among the children.
In other words, are you saying that the law that made it so is wrong?
Well, it's not wrong. But what I'm saying is that for a man to declare his asset, including what his wife is earning or has, and then the woman will declare her own on the man, which means duplication. They are duplicating the household. I have said my husband has 10 cars, and my husband will say I have 5 cars. Now, I will include my own 5, and he own 10, it means 15, which is wrong.
It's still the same household we're talking about.
It's household.
And the same property of the household we're talking about.
We are multiplying.
I don't think so.
All right.
Logically,
I think before we go, we're going to prefer the best way.
Okay.
All right, just to let you know that this is quite participatory. We're expecting your calls, We want to call us and, of course, ask whatever questions you intend to ask as regards to asset declaration in Nigeria. And that brings me to my next question, Professor. Looking at the system that deals with asset declaration in Nigeria, how trustworthy is this system? 1. And 2, do you think the civil society organization are playing their roles well enough to increase the transparency and accountability of public institutions to the citizens? Like there's this report that says, talking about this asset declaration, the citizens should know.
And not just civil society. We have Naiti,
We have everybody to know about.
So do you think they're really doing a whole lot to make these things visible for the citizens?
It is because we have not educated the citizenry. They don't know when to declare it. How many of our people pay taxes? How many? Only civil servants and public servants pay taxes. And some of these multi-millionaires who own industries, they pay taxes. Even when they pay the taxes, they don't just show what they have as an asset of the company. They don't. But you see somebody who owns multi-millionaire, billionaire, anything, can be paying a tax, which an ordinary civil servant who earns about 50,000 naira a month, what will be paying? The traders who are in the market, who make a lot of money, they don't pay taxes because they don't know why they should pay taxes.
All right, let me come to you, Prof. We were told that when former President Yar'Adua was about to go into office, he declared his assets, and also the incumbent Buhari also declared. I think that's the two I've had. Does it mean that declaration of assets are meant for some people, or that some of these elites, if you like, you can declare; if you don't like, you leave it, or is it mandatory that all should declare? If so, are we doing it in this country?
To me, as I earlier said, it's mandatory that once you are holding any office in trust in this country, Nigeria, you must have to declare your assets. It's a law. It is a booklet which you must fill and return. And they give you time for returning it. I want to get back to the other issue of making it for people to know about it. It used to be in jingle form in media houses that people should come and declare their assets. I've heard that many times in a Ebonyi state. Yes, they will announce it on air. Come and collect your form. Come and do this. Declare. They are giving you so time. And when you do that, you must have to go to the High Court. It's a High Court judge that must sign it for you.
All right, let's quickly.
So I'm surprised when we are saying, as if to say it's a new thing. It has been there.
Okay,
it has been there. It has been there, but how many people actually knows about
obliged
it?
to this? And when people do this,
so what we're going to talk about now is how to make the body know that they are not reaching out.
Okay,
are you getting me? So that the right means through which they will reach out through media for people to know what is asset declaration.
Quickly, as a summary,
yes.
The way forward, please. Just like you're saying, that the media should get involved.
That the media should get involved in every state of the federation, even to the hinterlands, the local governments. People should know what is happening. People have been hearing of Code of Conduct Bureau, but they don't know what it really means. They've been hearing the Code of Conduct Bureau,
right,
because that's their duty.
Your last word before we
go.
Well, we have to reorder this country in the value system. What you should do to improve the society. The Code of Conduct Bureau must be able to reach out. This country cannot even make use of the mass media to educate people. So we must be able to go in declare access.
Right.
Wait, please. the former Vice President Ekweme declared his assets. And he was arrested at the close when Dami took over. He was arrested. His declaration of assets. Then at the end, he said he came in rich and went out poorer.
All right, we could go on and on because
but there's something, if you permit me, about Chief Justice of Nigeria.
All right.
It should be funny for somebody to learn that the Chief Justice of Nigeria did not declare his asset the way it should be done. Is he not the #1 legal man in this country? It's nasty to hear such things.
Okay.
He's the one that is supposed to set example for others to follow. You know that thing is legal.
Time
is true. But I know, but excuse me, trying to hook him up now is politically motivated, we know. But he shouldn't have allowed such a thing to affect him because he knows his position as #1 legal man in this country.
Well, all right. He should not be doing this.
All right. Please, you can go on and on. But for want of time, this is where this topic terminates. We'd like to appreciate Professor Ifeanyi Ezako, Professor of Philosophy, Paul University here in Oka. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Nigerians.
We also appreciate Professor Ifeanyi Ike, SSA to Governor on Political Matters. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, viewers, and continue to support our government of Willie Obiano and Africa. We're already near the election, 16th and March. 2nd November.
All right. We are going to come back, so we'll do it well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more topics.